Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 141. Thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Chris. As always, here in this studio I have full of posters, a very small and very warm space. I was probably going to get my face all flushed because it is quite muggy in here, but I digress. You are here for the podcast, so again, thank you for joining me and hanging out today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just before we go any further, I do want to remind you that if you like what you see and or hear today, there's one thing, a bunch of things, or all the things I'm about to list that you can do to help the show out, and they are the following: like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, and follow. 6 quick, free, and easy things. You can literally do it right now, later on, whenever you're comfortable. One of them, bunch of them, all of them, don't really matter. I truly appreciate it, so thank you very much if you choose to do that. And of course, you can find all the other ways to support the show over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. The streaming links, the social media links, the RTR album chart, so everything I've ever done on the podcast is there. You can see all the chronological ratings and episodes and everything like that. And then, of course, the RTR Club. If you want to financially support the show, the option is indeed there to do that at the RTR Club, found at ratetherecord.ca. Cool. Just wanted to get all that out of the way. I've been waiting a while to record this one because I don't know why I kept putting it off. That's kind of irrelevant though, because in the flow of things, you won't even notice anyways. So yes, today is episode 141, and for today's episode, we are taking a look at Fiona Apple and her 1999 album, When the Pawn, ... And when I tell you about the album, which I'm going to do in just a second, I'll tell you the entire title because it's practically a whole paragraph, and I think there was a joke behind that, but yeah, it's just simply called When the Pawn. That's what a lot of people know it as. I've been waiting to do this album for a while. I've had Fiona Apple on my schedule list since season 5, essentially, when Savannah was still here. But I kept pushing it back, things kept pushing it back, and then things kept happening, schedules kept changing. And I got sick of putting it off, finally wanted to do it because, to be honest, I haven't even checked out the entirety of the discography of Fiona Apple. I've only heard like select songs and I happen to really like them, so it was about time I jumped into it. And I'm excited to jump into this album. But before we get fully into the review, let me tell you a little bit more about the album itself. When the Pawn is the second full-length studio album by alternative pop singer-songwriter Fiona Apple. The name of the album is the beginning of a poem she had written in regards to being criticized from Spin magazine. The full poem reading: when the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. What he knows throws the blows when he goes to the fight. And he'll win the whole thing before he enters the ring. There's nobody to batter when your mind is your might. So when you go solo, you hold your own hand, and remember that depth is the greatest of heights. And if you know where you stand, then you know where to land, and if you fall, it won't matter, because you'll know you're right. It was released November 9th, 1999 through Epic Records. Fiona Apple is the primary singer, songwriter, and pianist, but other musicians on the album consist of Matt Chamberlain on drums and percussion, and he's also done session work for Pearl Jam, Tori Amos, Elton John, The Wallflowers, David Bowie, and more. Mike Elizondo on bass, who has also worked with Eminem, Linkin Park, 21 Pilots, and more. And John Bryan, who was listed as, quote, all other instruments, and he produced the album as well. The album has garnered generally positive reviews. As of the recording of this episode, it sits at a 79 on Metacritic, with scores such as 4.5 out of 5 from AllMusic, a 9.4 out of 10 by Pitchfork, a 3.5 out of 4 from the Chicago Sun-Times and the LA Times, amongst other reviews. The album charted on 7 different charts, with its highest peak being number 13 on the Billboard 200. It was certified platinum in the US, gold in Japan, and silver in the UK. The album spawned 3 singles: Fast As You Can, which went as high as number 8 on the Billboard Adult Alternative Songs chart, Limp, and Paper Bag. Well, there you go, just a little bit more about the album, just in case you didn't know. And yes, as you heard, it's an entire paragraph/poem for the entire title, but that's why we only use the 3 words to describe it. But that's enough about talking about that part of the album. We have to start talking about the songs. That's how this whole thing works. So let's start with song number 1, On the Bound.
Don't know what I'm doing, don't know should I change my mind. I can't decide, there's too many variables.
Pause it right there. Song number 1, On the Bound. Quite a fierce start to the album, realistically. Even given its style, it's still quite a fierce start. At least in my eyes, it is. And if you consider Fiona Apple as like an artist for a minute, as you should, because she definitely is, but consider her style and everything that she does. Understand when I say that the verse in this one, or the verses in general, feel pretty heavy, actually. Again, given the style, you're not getting those heavy chugging guitars or anything, but damn, if the slow hitting march pounding drum type deal isn't there, it just works. I think it's really good. It's really well done. And her vocal performance too, especially at certain points of the song, really has a ferocity to it that I think really hammers that point home pretty well. And I think it sounds fantastic. So just a lot of good stuff going on at the very first point in the song, or in the first song overall, I should say. A lot of zany feeling instrumentals that happen in this one as well, with some of those almost experimental layers sprinkled in on top of that too. So there's really lots to enjoy with the playful but kind of pessimistic nature of the song as a whole. Yeah, I don't know, just a very interesting start to the album. I enjoyed it for sure. I'm having fun with it already. We got 9 more songs, so let's see if this can be kept up as we go into song number 2, and I want to make sure it's right at the beginning. To Your Love. All right, song number 2, To Your Love. A pretty poppy and jazzy number that we have with this one here. Even despite that, though, there's still a lot of tension, not only from the expansive atmosphere of this track overall, but also in those constant, though light piano stabs that she's doing through all the verses and everything like that. So I think that really helps kind of accentuate everything that's happening in this song. The bridge is really cool too. That has its own kind of tension of its own. There's playful vocal melodies, a little more again, ferocity coming to her voice. And then you have those unsnared drum rolls that I don't know. Everything works really well together with that voice, that style, and everything like that. Nice little kind of middle ground for something a little different. I enjoyed the way it was done, composed, written out. The production on it's fantastic too. The production on the whole album is really good. So, I mean, not much more to say about that. And this song, as I said, does have some bite to it for sure, and the performances are really, really great. But I'm finding it a little hard to completely take this song in, and I'm not even certain why, because I am enjoying listening to it, but I don't know. Maybe in my head some parts work better than others, but it's not a bad song by any means. It's probably not one of my favorites on the album, I'll say that much. With that said, how will I feel about song number 3, Limp?
Your bitter lies, so call me crazy, hold me down, make me cry, get off now, baby. Yeah, when I think of it, my fingers turn to fist. You'll be lying, limp in your own hands.
What a solid line, really. I even make a pun about that in my notes, so I'll just say it now, no pun intended. Song number 3, Limp. Immediately we're hit with this soft piano and just these deep, watery, percussive layers, which I think sound neat. They're a nice little texture to start everything out, so I kind of like how it gives you that. Then it picks up a little more, and then the choruses just kind of jump out at you. They jump out at you. That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm sorry, it's late when I'm recording this. No excuses. I'll continue. It's fine. The choruses are fantastic. They're well composed all around. But then, yeah, just that line you hear, that's it won't be long till you're lying limp in your own hands. That's a fantastic line for many reasons, and especially considering that the song is about confronting a gaslighter. I mean, I think it just has that much more meaning. It's a very solid line. Once again, no pun intended. Rim shot, thank you very much. And the ending to this one is fun too. I really like it. You have this weird, bassy, experimental little portion that happens for a little while. I think that's a lot of fun. And that obviously we slip into the last chorus as well, and it works really well. Just immediate cut off, everything about it just is pretty solid. Ooh, we're only 3 songs in and I'm losing my words already, but just know that I like the song. If you're gonna pick up anything from that review, I really do like that track. I think it's great. I love its quieter moments, its more intense moments, just a lot to take in and enjoy about that one. So definitely up there for sure. Let's see how I feel about song number 4, called Love Ridden.
It's over, so I can't deny it. And now If I need you,
Well, alrighty then. Song number 4, Love Ridden. Obviously a difference on the album so far as compared to the other tracks and what they've been. This one's a very sweeping strings and piano ballad about a relationship ending, or seemingly ending at the very least. I think it's pretty effective in its presentation. Like, the emotion is definitely there, and you can hear the sincerity in the voice and everything like that, and everything about it works. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. And honestly, this song doesn't feel that long at all. I mean, it's just under 3.5 minutes, but it just seems to drift by pretty seamlessly. It's nice. The whole thing just kind of flows very softly, so it's just very easy to get through the song. And it's easy to go back and listen to if you really want to, although it's pretty sad, so I guess you'd have to be in the mood to want to listen to this like over and over again. But not much more to say about it overall because of how, I was going to say short, but again, it's not that short, but just there's not too much to take in from this other than the lyrical content and just kind of like the flowing nature, almost minimal nature of the tracks. Again, you just have the strings, the piano, Fiona singing, and that's kind of about it. So it's still really good though. I like it. It's somber, but it's just well done overall. So good stuff. Alrighty then, let's hit that halfway point of the album with song number 5, Paper Bag.
you shaky to hold. Hunger hurts, but starving works. And I said, so's everything, but he didn't get it. I thought he would. Oh, hunger hurts, but starving works when it comes.
Song number 5, Paper Bag. Very jazzy, but also minimal type of poppy flow in the production of this one. I think Fiona's, her wordy and kind of at some points staccato, at some points like very frolicking style of presentation to the lyrics, like through her vocal melodies, is probably the biggest standout to me of this entire track. I really like the way she just kind of plays and flows with her words and everything like that. Just, it sounds fantastic. And with that said, the whole song itself still flows nicely enough all around. Like, don't get me wrong. Just, it's constantly moving and telling this story of like not getting this love that you crave, essentially because you're seen as problematic either through someone else's eyes or through your own eyes. And so maybe you just feel like you don't deserve it. So yeah, just another one of those like really sad, like lost love type of stories. It's always so fascinating to me. And I know I mentioned this a lot with like Elliott Smith and everything like that, but it's always so fascinating to me when the saddest lyrical stories have like the more fun flowing types of production and everything like that. I guess it just helps make the songs a little more accessible rather than just making them all tearjerkers. I don't know, but you know what? The song works for me. It's fun in its instrumental form. Lyrically, maybe not so much, but it's still a well-told story. I like it. It's fine. Okay, we'll move on to song number 6, and it's called A Mistake.
Makes sense. What you looking at me
Wow, that one really drags right to the very last second, doesn't it? Jeez. As a matter of fact, like the next song very, very nearly starts. Damn, just they don't know when to cut it off, do they? Anyway, song number 6, A Mistake. Maybe ending songs like that are a mistake. I don't know, but it's not really in my notes, so I'm not going to complain about it. It's fine. This song is very much like a sound of its time, for sure. Remembering that this song came out in 1999. I was 10 years old, so I'm very familiar with this style of like that kind of 90s alt pop that this song kind of presents with some of the instrumentals. They're not necessarily bad, but some parts of this track haven't aged as well as others. I will say that much, and I'll just let you pick out which ones you think I'm talking about. How about that, okay? It's all good. I still like the bite to most of this track, though, altogether. Like, it's really not that bad of a track. The buzzier instrumentals at some points, the chord progressions themselves are really good. The lyrics about just wanting to do whatever you want to do without worrying about the approval of others, which obviously is a very relatable theme for a lot of people, so it's just very easy to jump on something like that. That's pretty cool. The song's probably a touch too long, though, because I'm looking at the list here, 4 minutes and 56 seconds. It's not the longest, but it's like, what, second longest? Just barely second longest. Probably a touch too long, but for the most part, everything flowed and sounded well, so realistically, I had fun with it. It could have been a smidge shorter, but whatever. I'll take it as it is. As I said, it's fun, so I don't want to take away too much from it at all. And with that said, we can actually get into the next song now. Song number 7. Yes, it is. Fast as You Can.
You can, baby, scratch me off, free yourself fast as you can. 'Cause I'm tired of wires, choking on wires, just fast as you can.
I'm going to go ahead and pause it there, even though there's a few seconds left. It's just clearly exiting noise there. Song number 7, Fast as You Can, the big single from the album. I actually do remember this one from when I was a kid. There's only 3 Fiona Apple songs I remember from when I was a kid for sure. There was Criminal, which was obviously in the album before this, her debut album. That's her massive hit. There was this one, and then her cover of Across the Universe that she did for Pleasantville, which that song is gorgeous. Which, it's not on this album, too bad I can't talk about it too much. I have to talk about it as fast as you can. But hopefully not as fast as I can, because then I'll just stumble all over my words like I usually do, even if I talk slowly. I digress. This one is definitely a boppy, fast-paced track, so it's very fun to kind of like listen to, just bounce along to and everything like that. A lot of cool tension in the chords, great fast and slow deliveries to the flow of the lyrics all over the place on this one, in the best way possible too, so I'm really enjoying the kind of differences that we're getting. And even talking about, like, because most of the song is pretty fast with its presentation, the bridge is where everything mainly slows down, and it happens pretty early in the track too. But it's a great breathing point. It comes to this kind of like waltzy halt and just holds there for a little while. And it's definitely nice to have that breath of air for just a second amongst all the, you know, like almost unhinged nature of the rest of the track. And even other tracks on this album too. It's not just necessarily this one, because there's other songs that kind of get like pretty unhinged as it goes. So it's nice to have moments like this every once in a while, even if it's just a brief one in the middle of the track. But yeah, like this one, still solid all around. Really like it. Well executed in its frantic nature. And even with its lyrics essentially telling a potential love interest or your current love interest to run, because it's like, I'm not a great person and I'm going to prove this to you. Yeah, just more tragic lyrics, huh? But it's still quite a fun track. I feel like it could have been like a touch shorter, kind of just stretched on for a little at the end there. But other than that, it's still a damn good song. It's not a problem at all. So now we'll move on to song number 8. We're getting close to the end. Song number 8 is The Way Things Are.
Better by far, by far.
That ringing out synth, I have to make a note about it real quick because I don't have it written down in my notes, but I was thinking about it while I was listening to the song. I know it's not in the same key, but there's something about that wobbly little synth that just reminds me of Goodbye Horses. Maybe I'm just kind of stretching a little bit, but there's just something about the similarities there, but I don't think Buffalo Bill's going to be dancing to this song anytime soon. I had to throw that out there. It's just in my head, and I thought it was pretty funny. But song number 8, The Way Things Are. And apparently they're not all right in my head. The song, though, on the other hand, a nice chill track with it's got a good bit of bounce to it as well, obviously. And when I say chill, I mean, it's not like really low key. Like it does still have its like peaks and everything like that. And it does start building and building, which is nice. I think that her choice in vocal melodies in this one really plays well with that bouncy beat too. So it's just kind of nice to take that in and have everything match up pretty well. So once again, just more very intelligent composition here, just working really hard to like play with that beat a little bit. Listen, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to say that I like it a lot, okay? So just bear with me here. And it actually does a pretty good job of increasing the intensity, as I already kind of mentioned too, as the song goes on. And once it hits that peak in the middle, it kind of rides this high for quite a while, which actually works pretty well. And the song was really well organically built up. It didn't feel like artificial. It didn't feel like it needed to or anything like that. It was just kind of happening. So I just like the way the song flowed. Everything about it made sense. It's great. So yeah, just another great song on this album. What else can I say? It's pretty decent if I do say so myself. Okay, so we're on to the penultimate track now, and that's going to be song number 9, Get Gone.
And yet I'm sitting
Another very sudden ending to a song on this album. Song number 9, Get Gone. I'm really digging that brush kit sound that we're getting in this one. Like, it's just a very nice, pleasant, jazzy tone. Specifically in the verses, because, I mean, the choruses do pick up. But with the verses, though, they sound really nice, but they also have this, like, underlying layer of tension to it, too. So I like how it sounds nice, but you're feeling like there's something else under the surface. So it's good. It kind of, like, invokes something inside of you to, like, keep listening and find out where the song is going and everything like that. So good stuff over there. And then back over in the chorus, the pickup is really pretty welcoming, I think. It's nice to have, so it's not just kind of quiet all the way through, just wondering where the tension's going. It goes from this quieter, very minimal presentation to a suddenly, like, escalated and grand feeling chorus. So I think that you're kind of given a lot to take in with this one between the verses and the choruses. And just as usual, great composition, great production, great performances all around. Like, this album is just full of them. What can I say? I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but I can't help it when all the songs sound this good. And lyrically, I mean, with the song, it takes a turn of the relationship angle she's been talking about, from originally saying that she's the problem, because that was like, Fast As You Can, for example, where she was talking about how she's the problem, you should probably get the hell out of here. This one kind of deals with the idea of wanting out of a relationship because the other person is the problem. And I mean, like, this whole album just deals with the narrative of, like, uneasy love and feelings and just, like, tumultuous relationships and everything like that. So it definitely fits their narrative. It's nice to have, like, another perspective on that idea too. So it's not just repeating the same thing over and over again. So yeah, appreciated to have another good song on this album. Let's see if we can close out solidly enough with song number 10, I Know.
To bury secrets in help you out while she is still wait by the backstage door.
We're fading. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause it right there and say song number 10, I Know. A very, very peaceful feeling track and end to the album. But, big but though. No, not actual but you know what I mean. Considering it's about essentially being someone's side piece, it's just another one of these, like, emotional bait and switch types of tracks. Like, when it comes to the lyrics, like, you're listening to the song, you're like, ooh, pretty, I really like this one. Then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, well, fuck. Because I mean, like, there's no good way of, like, being the protagonist in this particular story, for example. But I'm not gonna rip on the lyrics or anything, like, whatever. It's a well-told story altogether. I really like I like the lyrics overall. I like the way they're presented. I like the way they're sung. Everything is fantastic about it. It is a very, very well-performed track. It's very beautiful all around. Even in its ballady, kind of waltzy, jazzy form, it still flows just so nicely. And it has, like, such a beautifully intimate performance by Fiona Apple herself, like, on vocals. Like, the piano is really nice, but just her voice is just one that just does it. It works. Like, she's got the perfect voice for this. And yeah, it was, like, really, really pleasant to hear this kind of track, especially at the end of the album. And also, one thing I like a lot about this song is because, like, she'll say, like, the refrain of, like, well, she says I'll know instead of just saying I know. But regardless, that's just the refrain. Just as she gets to that last chorus and she gets to the part where she would say it, she just holds, doesn't say it. Brush kit comes back in, and then song ends without her ever saying it. So I don't know. I like that kind of, like, anticipation of it, but it just never comes. Just it's nice part of storytelling. It's just kind of like you get the picture. So I like that part of the composition. Really good stuff. And with that said, I can actually take my headphones off without dropping them and just hang them on my little hook that I have on my table there. Fantastic. Everything's still around. We are at the end of Fiona Apple's When the Pond ... I'm not reading the entire paragraph again. So we did all this. So now I have to do this. Make Spotify disappear. And then I have to bring these on the screen here. 10 numbers beside me. They're empty right now, but they'll be full in a second. It's time to rank the songs. What I felt were the least favorite to favorites and everything like that. But you know how this part works. It's time to cut the cake. Least favorite to favorite, not so great to great. Like, least preferred to most preferred, however you want to cut that cake, you go ahead and you do that. I'm handing you the big boy knife, big girl knife, big person knife, doesn't really matter. You can be whoever you want. Like, I'm trusting you to cut the cake. Just be careful, okay? That's all I'm going to ask. With that said, I've already cut my cake, so I'm going to go ahead and let you know my slices right now, and they are the following. So number 10, To Your Love. 9, Paper Bag. 8, A Mistake. 7, Love Ridden. 6, On the Bound. 5, Get Gone. 4, Fast as You Can. 3, I Know. 2, Silver Medal. The Way Things Are, and Limp was a fun song, and it comes in at number 1 on my list. But look at the scores. Like, if you're watching the video version, like if you're listening to the audio version, I sorry you can't see what I'm saying right now, or you can't see what I'm pointing at. But you see these scores on the screen right here? There is like literally no bad song in this album. Even To Your Love being number like a 7 out of 10 is not a bad score. Like, this was full of fantastic tracks. I was very pleased, very impressed with it. I came into this album thinking that I was going to like it anyways. I was still pretty open-minded because the thing is, like, I didn't truly know what to expect. Like, I know about Fiona Apple, I know what her style is and everything like that, but just, again, didn't quite know what I was getting into. Glad I checked this out, though, and you can bet your ass there'll probably be another one down the road for sure. I'll have to, like, decide which one I want to do, but that'll come when it comes. But for now, When the Pawn has some great songs, but now those have to disappear, and it's time to do this thing right here. Rate the Record. It's time to do that now. The song scores are out. Now the album score, because that's what this whole podcast is about. Well, I've been praising the holy hell out of this album. If you haven't heard the entire review by now, you saw the scores, so you can understand it's going to be pretty high, and yes, indeed, it is. So I'll just mention last week, The Cure broke into the top 10 with The Head on the Door, the review I did. I think it was like 84%. Well, Fiona Apple just knocked out The Cure of the top 10, as she is sitting in the middle of the A tier at 85%. And at the point of recording this episode, that is number 10 on the list. So yes, The Cure, just barely cracking the top 10, suddenly gets knocked out the very next week, which is unfortunate because Robert Smith's behind me here on the podcast trying not to cry, but I'm sure he has some sort of respect for Fiona Apple, I would imagine so. But yeah, there you go. 85% A-tier album, of course. It rated a lot higher than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be another B tier, just like randomly going off of like, oh, I mean, it'll sound good, but like, how into it am I going to be? Turns out a lot. Turns out A-tier worthy. So yes, there you go. Fantastic score for a fantastic album. And with that, that brings episode 141 to an end. So thank you very much for joining me, hanging out, and listening to this album. And if you did indeed hang out with me and listen to this album, then let me know down in the comments below wherever you're listening, because there's comment sections everywhere. What did you think about this album? Do you love this album? Do you hate it? Do you agree or disagree with me? How would you rank the songs? How would you rate the record? All of this and more. What's your favorite Fiona Apple song or album? Doesn't really matter. Let me know all that more down in the comments below, because of course it's not just engagement baiting and everything like that. I'm genuinely curious about this. Like, I would like your opinions. I feel lonely when no one else shares their opinions, so please go ahead and do that. I look forward to reading them. And not only that, going down in the comments below, but you can also go to ratetherecord.ca to find all the other places that you can do things. That is ratetherecord.ca, the streaming links, the social media links, the RTR album chart, which this song, as of this episode recording, will be in the number 10 spot, so it'll be pretty high near the top. And of course, again, the RTR Club, if you would like to donate to the show. It's completely optional, but the option's indeed yours. All of that found at ratetherecord.ca. And with that, I am done now. It took me a while to get around to recording this episode. I regret it taking so long, but you know what? It's out now. It's fantastic, and we can all smile and look forward to episode 142 next week. We're looking at a Canadian metal band. Oh, wait, I don't want to say it's going to be next week. No, if anyone's counting, no. I will have it done as soon as I can, but I can't guarantee next week. We will see what happens. It's a Canadian metal band, though. We're going to be taking a look at Spirit Box and their album Tsunami Sea. I'm just going to give it away right there. So we're going from a jazzy kind of alternative, adult alternative, like pop type album to just pure full out metal next week. I've been looking forward to this. I've listened to Tsunami Sea once already, so I'm looking forward to listening to it again and giving it a thorough review. And I hope that you will join me for that. But until then, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.